What are we gonna be talking about today? Um let's see. Thank you for tuning in. This is another episode of the Owner Suite with your host Xavier Daniel. And on today's episode, I want to talk some financial stuff with people. All right. And when I say I'm not even talking about finance like personal finances. I'm just talking about people who tell you that banks are evil, that they're just out there to get your money, that there's nothing good about them. Well, I'm here to tell you that they're true. they are not lying to you. Banks are not your friend, all right? But the thing about it is the way they put it so much, but they're also not your enemy, okay? The thing that we have to realize with banks, right, is number one, are banks a scam? Oh hell yeah. They scamming us out of money every day. Because you got to think about it, right? We got to think about it. When we go to banks and we put our money in banks, we got to put it in our mindset that this is just a place that we are parking our money. I don't want to keep a large lump sum in there, but this is just a place that I'm parking the money that I need, like as far as like emergency funds and things that money that I could get quick off of hand. That if something goes wrong, like if my car messes up, things like that, I could go ahead and liquidate this money real fast. I could grab it out and go and fix whatever I gotta fix. Because like I said, this is just a place to park your money for the moment. For just so you can put that key in the engine and go. That's what it is. Because there's other places that's permanent parking. Things like IRAs and things like that. You want to have those as more so in your mindset as permanent parking, unless you want to take that money out to purchase a house. That's a whole another talk, right? So banks are scams because you got to think about it like this: the money that you actually put in that bank, and they say, oh yeah, you could create a savings account. Create a savings account, and we're gonna give you 0.5% on your money annually. Well, we all know that inflation is anywhere from 2 to 3% normally. Though that's the inflation rate. So we just all round it to 2.5. So if they give you 0.5, and then we know inflation is 2.5, you're down 2%. So in that way, I say they're a scam because we also have to think about this, right? The banks create money out of the money that you put in. This is called fractional reserve banking. All right. So with fractional reserve banking, when you go ahead and put $100 of your money into the bank is allowed to take $90. They can hold 10% of that money. It's a 90-10 split. They actually hold 10% of that money as reserves, and the other 90%, they are allowed to lend out. And then, if we all know anything from banks, when they go ahead and lend out money, they don't lend it out for free because banks are not in a business to breaking even. At the end of the day, banking is a business. So they're not in the business of breaking even. Any business you think about don't want to break even. They want to make money. So when they actually get that 100, and then they actually be like, yo, I'm gonna loan out $90. They loan out $90 with the intention of making $110. Attention to making 120, but they're always intending on making money out of the money that you put into their system. So anytime you get paid, you put money in there, and they taking 90% of that money out and lending it to somebody else. So guess what? If you're at work and you're talking about a coworker and he said, "Yo, I just got a mortgage," he just purchased a house, he got a mortgage from the bank. You got to think about it like this: he has 90% of your money in that mortgage, 90% of everybody's money who banks with them from your money. So that's what I sit here and say. That's what the fractional banking is about. And the banks are in the business to make money. So, yes, they are out there creating money and making money off of your money. But it's nothing wrong with it because you know this. That's how the world goes. We have to find. We have to make money. We have to use money to purchase things. So it's like that's the thing about it that a lot of people do not know. So the thing, also one of the things about it, right? And we have to sit there and realize this is why it's so hard for us middle class and lower class people to actually get money and get lower rates is because we don't know any of this, right? So since a lot of the people who actually know about this are richer folks, they are more inclined to work with them because the richer people, they are less, they are low risk. All right, that's how we got to put it. Richer people are low risk when it comes to investing, so it's harder for us who make a regular salary to go and get finance, and it's easier for the rich people. The rich people get lower rates and things of that nature. That's because they actually understand the finance, so they most of their credit scores are higher, or they already they know the finagle, so they got them a little CPN. Um, but they're just at lower risk because you got to think about it. These richer people are people who probably own businesses, who do this, that, and the third. So guess what? They go out there and they create their own money. They go ahead and they hire people and pay people. So guess what? Now I'm one of the people who actually get paid off of somebody who owns the business. So I could go ahead and get fired the next day and I would have to be searching for work. As opposed to a business owner. Of course a business could go down, but the thing about it is when you're looking at that, they probably have more streams of income. So they're more inclined to still keep that. So they'll work with richer people and people who actually have businesses and give them lower rates because they intend on doing further business with them. They know these people are going to come back for more. So richer people get lower rates, and people with higher credit scores will get lower rates and things like that. So always work. If you don't have that, rich, because a lot of us don't. If you're watching this, you probably not to shit on you. I hope you well off, but work on that credit score. That's one of the easiest things to do, where you could do that faster than hitting the lotto. Um, and last but not least, this is one of the biggest. This is their secret weapon. When they say they got the ace up the sleeve, they got the ace. I don't know why I did the Spider Man thing. I did Spider like that's the ace up the sleeve. But anyway, the ace up their sleeve. These bank secret weapons, and why all of us had this as our first thing was credit cards, right? Right here, when we think about it, credit cards, the interest rate on credit cards is like 20%. That's like average. It's gonna be around 20%. I think I have a card at like 18 right now. But they influx. You know what you'll see it'll say 16 to 24. So we just go with the average of 20 around 20%. All right. Um, this is their secret weapons. And a lot of us fall for the bait so bad because America has created us into consumers. That's what we need. That's the way our country strives, is by the purchasing power. Is if we go out there and we can actually purchase stuff, and the more stuff we purchase, the better our economy looks like it's doing. All right, but the problem is we have conditioned ourselves into a higher lifestyle that even if we have our funds are lower than where our lifestyle was, we would go ahead and get credit cards to keep up with that lifestyle. Because the last thing people want to do is sit there and last week you was out there with a BMW and now you had to go trade that in to go get another car. And the last thing you want to do is somebody see you with a BMW, the next week see you with a Nissan, and they be like, "Oh, what happened to your car?" You know what I mean? We all with these pressures of society, instead of just sitting, taking a real step back and looking like, "Yo, I'm just in a bad situation right now, bro. It's just if we just be real with ourselves and be real with others, it would make things so much easier, and our mentalities for everybody would start to change around us, and it would create better circles and better means, you know. Because it's even, you got to think about it, it's even sometimes the person that you're dating, they don't even want to talking about money is difficult. They don't want to talk about it because growing up, our parents never talked to us about it. They was going through it and they didn't want us to know. And it's just things like, yo, if you talk about money, like this is our problem. Society, some of us, we just scared to talk about money. It's like religion with, with new people in politics. They like, yo, don't talk about it. No, fuck it, let's talk about it. I want to know if I rock with you. You know what I mean? I want to be I want to be near a person who's making bad money decisions. But the thing about bad money decisions, their politics are trash and their religions don't align with me. I don't want to be around that. It's just truth. So if you don't align with me, I want to know. So, but you could just tell. There's a lot of things you could just tell. You don't even have to talk to people to understand where they rely. But still, America has made us consumers, and we keep falling for this trap. We want more and want more and want more. It's like it's never enough. So what we do is spend tomorrow's money today with credit cards. And that's their secret weapon, because you got to understand, a lot of us is going ahead and spending that credit card, making a minimum payment. A lot of the times when you're making that minimum payment, you think like, I am just going to hold off. Yeah, I'm going to be able to pay it next week. If you couldn't pay for this shit now, what makes you think you're going to pay for it next week, or pay for it 3 months down the line when they're actually adding 20% onto that purchase price? So now it's not going to be exactly 20% because it's APR, so they divide it by 365 or 12, depending on what you look at. But what makes you think you're going to be able to pay for that whole thing later? Would it cost you more? You couldn't afford it. Would it cost the regular price? Now, because you borrowing money, is going to cost more. That's where our mindset's got to change, because it's like, yo, we on an instant gratification where we want things now, and they're kicking our asses. So that's why I'd sit here and tell you, banks are scams, yes, but if you use it right, they don't have to be your enemies. They don't even have to be your friends. You just associate with them. I associate with my bank. If Wells Fargo wanted to act funny, guess what? I just go to another bank. They'll give me money. That's it. They'll give me money. They'll give me a new credit card. I'll be fine. But that's what you got to do. When it comes to credit cards, stop using them like it's your money, or you just want something now, so get it. No, you don't. You stop using it like that. Unless you got it, go ahead, but don't use it. We don't use debt to fund our lives. We use debt to increase our wealth. That's what we use debt for. That's what debt was made for. Let's increase our wealth. So like I said, these banks are neutral, bro. They in there to make money, so of course they're gonna be But as long as how you use it, you could create them to be neutral. For me, it's neutral. I go ahead. I use a credit card every day. And I just told my coworker, I'm like, yo, just because I know how it works and it operates, I have probably paid in like, I've had my credit card for like 5 years. I had one of my credit cards. My most recent one, I had that for like about 2 years now. And I told them in 2 years, I probably paid $1 and like some change in interest rates. $1 and change in 2 years. And why I put that dollar, I don't even remember, but it's still only just $1. So it's like, yo, it's based on how you use it. So banks are your friends, your enemies, and just your alliances, and just neutral. It's based on how you decide you move with it. You got to change this mentality so you can get right with these banks. All right. Thank you for tuning in. If you got any value out this video, you already know, like, share, sub, and all the above. You feel me? X signing out, man.